Okay, so guys, this video is going to be a recap of my 7-year self-improvement journey. This one's going to be a bit more of an introspective reflection sort of video of my self-improvement journey, because I think it might help anyone that's looking to get on self-improvement or is currently like going through the self-improvement journey. And I don't know, maybe listening to my story might help people feel better about their own, or maybe give inspiration. Who knows? But obviously it's still incomplete because self-improvement is a lifestyle. It's not just something that you start and then stop. You're constantly on self-improvement once you start it. So let's get into this video.
I did again.
So since I was younger, even before I started self-improvement, I was always obsessed with wanting to be fit, because I always saw these guys that were like jacked. Because obviously as like a kid, I used to watch a lot of movies and TV shows and this and that. And in the media and everywhere, I instantly realized that guys that were like had muscle and guys that were jacked and guys that were super shredded were always seen as more attractive by women. They were always seen as more attractive. They were always seen as like, they would always get the girls, the guys that like had the most muscle and the guys that were the most shredded. And I was like, I really want that. I really want to always be shredded. Now, I was quite lucky as a kid in the sense that I wasn't extremely skinny. I was kind of skinny fat, but it was so much so like I could do 5 push-ups and suddenly I'd have visible abs within like 5 push-ups. It didn't make any sense, but I always used to show off to everyone. I'd be like, oh, look, I've got visible abs. Rah. I used to get so excited by it. So in 2019, my passion for fitness increased like tenfold. And I think it was not long after that I actually got my first ever gym membership, which I'll get into. But back in 2019, I was like really passionate for fitness, and like I really wanted to get into the gym. But I was way too young to like actually get in the gym. I wasn't making any money of my own. But the main thing that I thought in my head was, if I get in the gym, I know exactly what to do. I know exactly how to build a body. And like, if I just get a gym membership, I'll be set for life. I don't need anything else. I'll be so happy. I'll be able to get any girl that I want and this and that. This is like the exact way that I was thinking back in 2019. And how old was I back then? I was like, what? I was born in 2005. So 10, I was 14 years old, and I was thinking, if I get in the gym, I'm going to get jacked, I'm going to look so good, and I'm going to get all the girls I want in the world, and I was thinking like, I was like proper looks maxer, thinking, oh, all I need is a gym membership. Obviously, there's more to it than that. But yeah, there was this friend that I had. For the sake of this video, I'm going to call him, I don't know, Chris. I had this friend called Chris, and he was exactly like me, except he had weights at home. So he was actually training, and he used to like train these weights, and he used to like actually gain muscle. So I saw him like mentally as my competition, because he joined the friend group later on, and I was in there beforehand. But because he was like looking already jacked, he'd already had muscle, he was already attracting girls, I was like, shoot, this guy's my competition. So I used to always challenge him to arm wrestles. Sometimes I'd win, but I can't lie, most of the time I used to lose, because obviously like I wasn't actually properly training. The most I would do is push-ups at home. Obviously that's not going to do much compared to someone that's actually like got dumbbells or has got like a barbell, and they can do the curls, they can do the squats, they can do the bench press. And I'm just there like with my push-ups like, yeah, I'm doing 20, 30 push-ups. But to be honest, 20, 30 push-ups for a 14-year-old, it was still pretty good. Like I was pretty proud of myself. But yeah, I used to do arm wrestles with him all the time. But the thing is, me back then, I was a very short kid. I still am a very short kid, so I used to be very insecure about that. Like, imagine me, like a short little brown Indian kid, couldn't get any attention from girls, was super shy, and like very insecure, very overthinking. That's why I just thought, like, if I got into the gym and I built the body of my dreams, my life would just be set. I wouldn't have any other problems in life because that would be like a buff to me, to my personality, or to my like attributes that would completely like avoid everything else that was so terrible about me, about the fact that I was Indian, about the fact that I was short, and I wouldn't be insecure or shy anymore. And maybe like my personality wasn't the best. Maybe like if I have a good body, girls will like me just for my good body. um, so I was really, really just like, I had this huge passion just wanting to go to the gym for quite a few years until finally 2021, I got a gym membership and I started going hard because immediately, as soon as I got it, I was like, yes, this is what I've wanted this whole time. Like, imagine a kid like wanting that one thing, and then as soon as they get it, obviously they're gonna like, say for example, if a kid's like waiting for an Xbox, I'm sure you imagine when you were younger, there was like an iPhone or something that you wanted, and then as soon as you got it, you spent hours with it. You completely obsessed over it, and that's exactly how I was with the gym. I was fully locked in, and I was going nearly every day, and as early as I can in the morning, and I was just there for hours and hours on end, and it just became my therapy. Like, I honestly really miss those early days of going to the gym. And yeah, I was basically consistently going and learned more and more. I literally just made my entire life about the gym. All of the content I consumed, everything that I did was centered around the gym. My diet, and it was insane. Like, even though now I'm more knowledgeable, I know more about diet, I know more about like styles of training and this and that. I know a lot more information. By the way, my full guide's up here if you want to get an aesthetic body like I do. But even though I know a lot more information now, I think the way that I lived back then was more results driven, purely because I just had so much more drive within me to get the body. Whereas now, like, even though, yes, I still have that ambition, I still have that drive to get a better body, I already like feel like I've gotten not a good enough body, but like I'm at a place where I'm a little bit more complacent with where I'm at, because it's not like, oh, I'm not good looking at all. I've already gotten like to the point where I can get attention from girls. I've already gotten to the point where it's like doing all those things that I really wanted out of the body, where I was like, oh, it'll compensate for my height and girls will like me more and I'll be a bit happier, I'll be a bit more confident. I've already gotten all of those benefits. So to me now, the only purpose of going to the gym is to maintain what I have, grow what I have, and just like build the discipline of going to the gym. It isn't as important as like, no, I need to build the confidence, I need to do this so I can track the girl and this and that and this and that. Like, I already have an amazing, beautiful girlfriend. I'm already insanely confident. Back then, I wouldn't have been able to start this YouTube channel, but now because I started going to the gym, I was able to like start this YouTube channel, start talking to people, start getting more social, start actually talking to girls, start putting myself out there with girls. I would not be the person I am today if I did not start going to the gym back then. Which is why, like, I'm not excusing it because I want that drive back, but that's why I just think it was so much more special back then when I just started as a beginner. I had more drive, I had more motivation, I had more desire to train. And I miss that, honestly. But it's like part of the process, you know? As soon as you're like a newbie for something, that's how it happens. You start off, you get all excited and then go all in, and then gradually you become like a bit more of a pro in the area, and it's just like, okay, you get a bit more laid back. It's just like, it is what it is. So now skip forward to 2023, so that's about 2 years of consistently going. This was my golden era of self-improvement, 2023. So back then, this is when I like truly first discovered self-improvement. Reason being, I was already like looking for financial advice. I wanted to get my money up because now I was like, okay, I've got the body. I don't have any money. I'm broke. I'm working at McDonald's. I want to make some money. So I was following Iman Gaji, as you do, for business advice. I hate the guy now. But obviously around this time, the main people that were trending was Andrew Tate, Iman Gadzi, and Hamza. And I had this friend that I was really close with at the time, and he was actually like my accountability partner, and he knew I used to religiously watch Iman Gadji, and he was like, bro, you need to watch this guy called Hamza, he's so good, you'll relate to him so much. Like, when I speak to him, because this friend saw me as an older brother, and he was like, when I listen to him, it's like I'm listening to you, he speaks so similarly to you, he looks like you, and his backstory is similar to yours, and I'm like, what the hell is this guy on about? Let me check out this guy. I watched one video. I'm like, he's okay. And then a month later, my friend's telling me the exact same thing. Bro, you need to watch this guy. You need to watch this guy. You need to watch this guy. And I watched 2 more videos. I'm like, what the hell? What have I been missing out on? This guy is exactly like me. And that's basically where it started. Where I was like, okay, let's lock in. So I think that wasn't in 2023. It was like the end of 2022 where I started watching Hamza. And then I fully just went down a content consumption, what's it called? Hole. Yeah, down a hole, basically. I was just watching videos, countless videos of Hamza. So I now had so much self-improvement knowledge, and I was like, wait a second. I've consumed all this knowledge, but I'm not doing anything with it. So 2023, I decided I'm going to lock the fuck in. First of all, I was doing my A-levels at the time. And my friend, who was like younger than me, he was doing his GCSEs at the time. So I was like, okay, this year I've got my A-levels, you've got your GCSEs, let's lock in. Let's become fully accountable with each other, hold each other accountable, fully locked in, wake up 5 a.m, hit the gym, our diet's going to be on point, we're not going to be talking to our friends, we're going to be focusing on revision, we're going to get 4 deep work blocks done every single day, and we're going to hold each other accountable. I need to see proof that you're waking up at 4 a.m. every day. I need to see proof of your diet, and we were fully dialed in for a solid 6, maybe, okay, ignore the brain rot joke, but 6 or 7 months, because obviously it's around April, May time the exams are. So this is from January all the way up until then, and even into a bit of summer, and we were fully dialed in. I wasn't even talking to any girls all throughout this time, and that's why I call it the golden era, because I was so dialed in and so locked in on self-improvement. Bro, I was waking up at 5 a.m. every single day. Not even 5 a.m. some days, most of the days 3 a.m. Because the sixth form that I used to go to was an hour away. And what I would do, just to be extra dialed in, just to be extra on my shit, I would leave from home at 5 a.m. to make sure I got to school, or I got to my sixth form for around about 6 a.m. 6 or 7 a.m. 6 or 7 a.m. Because then that would be an hour or so before everyone else started coming in. So I would have a full hour at sixth form with the computers, because we had this common room area where we could just chill, and there was computers and stuff available. I'd have my own laptop, and I would sit there and get revision done for a solid hour before the school day has even started, before anyone else has even started turning up. And that's how fully dialed in I was. Imagine the level of pure discipline I had back then. And not only that, bro, I used to work 8 or 9 hour shifts at McDonald's, because I told you, I used to work at McDonald's, and I would work 8 or 9 hour shifts, and it would be dark, it would be rainy at the end of the day. You know what I would do? I would finish my shift, and in the dark and in the rain and in the cold, I would do 50 push-ups, because I told myself I'm going to do 100 push-ups every single day during that time that I was locked in, during that 6-month period that I was fully dialed in on self-improvement. And I actually did it. In the cold, in the rain, no matter what, I did those push-ups every single day. And I feel like such an unk right now, going and saying, back in my day, I used to do this. I used to wake up at 5 a.m. every day and go to the gym. And then I used to do this before sixth form. Then I used to it feels so pissy to talk about. I feel like a dickhead to talk about myself like this, because this shouldn't be what I used to be. This should be me now. And I used to be that good back then. I need to be beating myself. I need to outdo myself this time. I don't even know how I'm going to do that, because I was insane back then. But hearing myself talk about how I was back then makes me think, what the fuck am I doing right now? If I could do that back then, if that was still me back then, which I know it was, what's stopping you from being better than that right now? What's stopping myself from being 10 times better than that right now? And I would like to say that I am, but I'm not. And that's why it's so important to always reflect on your journey. You can always look back and think, wait a second, I used to be so much more dialed in. What happened? I'm still on self-improvement. I'm still trying to do all these things to improve my life, but I used to be so much better at this specific thing. I used to do this thing this certain way, and it works so much better for me. Why did I stop doing that? Because even though you like to think that you do things along in your life and you figure things out, and you'll continue doing that specific way for the rest of your life, but life goes on and shit happens, and you end up forgetting, like, oh, actually, I used to train like this and this got me more results. You go back and then you have to remember, which is the beauty of it, because you're learning from your past self, which is so crazy. Like, honestly, I've learned. This is gonna sound so stupid and maybe a little bit egotistical, but I learned so much from my past self. Like, sometimes I just go back and watch my old videos, and I'm like, oh fuck, I forgot that I said that. That makes so much sense, and that's something that would help me right now in this current moment, even though I said it like a year or 2 years ago. Sometimes I just go back and look at like my old photos, and I'm like, shit, I look so jacked back then. What the hell happened? What split was I on back then? What was my diet looking like at that time? What happened? Why do I not look like that anymore? But yeah, sorry, I'm doing a lot of side notes, but this is the whole purpose of this video, is to just kind of give you that insight into why it's important to reflect on your journey. And maybe you can take inspiration from my journey and think, you know what, yeah, I think I need to track my journey a bit better. I need to look back and reflect on my journey, because maybe there are times where I was doing a lot better than I am right now in certain cases. What can I learn from my past self? You know? But going back to like my little timeline here, I was fully locked in and I had this accountability partner. So I think one of the main things that made it so easy to be so dialed and locked in was because I had someone to be accountable with, someone that held me accountable. I think that's so important when you're doing self-improvement, because at the end of the day, as much as you want to hold yourself accountable, as much as ideally, yes, you should be able to hold yourself accountable to that standard, to that level, sometimes you just can't. Sometimes you can't hold yourself that accountable. And at the end of the day, if you can have someone else there to not do it for you, but to pick you up when you can't pick yourself up, it is underrated. Like, I'm telling you, having someone there to just say, yo, you're falling. Like, what are you doing? You're falling behind. You're slacking. What are you doing with your life? Why are you slacking? Get on your shit. You're better than this. If you have someone in your life that can tell you that, I swear to God, it's the best thing. It's the best thing. I think everyone needs that in one way or another. Something to think about. But if you can find someone to be accountable with, even if it is only for a small period, it is so good. So good. Anyways, after 2023, 2024, so I had my first girlfriend. So the whole lock-in season of 2023 built me so much that I was finally able to have my first girlfriend. Because obviously it started off with being for girls, right? I was like, I want to get fit so I can attract girls. I want to get money so I can attract girls. I want to do this so I can attract girls. And then I finally got a girlfriend. But I want you to guess what happened. Do you think it was a good, healthy relationship? Do you think I'm still with her today? Do you think it was like happy relationship, happily ever after? Nah. This is just the beginning of my journey. That girl fucked me up badly. And I fell off so hard after her. Actually, while I was talking to her, I didn't even go to the gym once. Every single day that I was talking to her, like from the start to the finish, even though like I should have, every single day I didn't go to the gym, which I regret so much. I fully lost myself in that relationship. And afterwards, it hit me so hard. I started smoking cigarettes because I thought it would, like, I honestly don't know why. maybe like I just use it as a cope to kind of escape. If you want to know like the full story of what happened with that ex-girlfriend of mine, I'll have the video linked up here, because I don't really want to get into it again and again and repeat myself. But that was a really tough time for me. And that was like, I think that was a huge turning point, but I'll get back to that later. So then 2024 summer, I had a little bit of a comeback and I locked in on my YouTube. And that's when I fully started the YouTube properly. That's when I had the happiness is overrated and like the education system. And I was like making all of those like high quality videos. The most important self-improvement lesson, Hamza is a Jeffrey, all of those sorts of videos. I was making them back then. And I was just so fulfilled. I was like, this is it. I finally found my purpose, my calling. Because this entire time I'd been a bit lost. I was like, what do I actually want to do in life? What calls to me? I can do all this bullshit, like academic shit at school. I can do computers, I can do physics, I can do chemistry, but I don't really enjoy any of it. None of it really tells me, like, none of it makes me feel good inside. It just felt more like a passion or a hobby, something like time pass, right? And I always, like, in conversations with friends and anyone, even girls that I was talking to, I would always give advice. And they would always say, you're so good at giving advice, oh my God. And they would just be so grateful for the advice that I gave them. And I realized that is what truly gave me that warm feeling of fulfillment inside, where I felt like I could do this. And then people started to tell me, bro, you're so good at giving advice. You could fully be a therapist. You could be a life coach, because some of the advice you give is golden. I actually started this like Snapchat private story for it, and I just started like writing random stuff on there because I just wanted to have a channel where I could like advise people. And honestly, it all started off with that accountability partner that I had, that friend, because I always used to like advise him and say, hey, you should do this. I like kind of took him under my wing and I was like, hey, do this, do this, do this. And I used to like put myself in the forefront of trying out something and experimenting with something first. And after it worked with me, I'd be like, hey, you could do this. Like, this really works. This will help you out so much. If you train like this in the gym, bro, you're going to get the best results. Bro, if you just think about like this in this way, trust me, like it makes so much sense. You've never thought about it like this before. And that's the point where it started. And I started doing that with a lot more people in my life when they came to me for advice. And I said, oh, have you thought about it this way? Have you thought about it like this? And they were like, bro, you're so good at giving advice. You should do this a bit more properly. You could even start a YouTube channel. And I started thinking about it and I was like, I've always wanted to start a YouTube channel. Could I do this? And then I got inspired by Hamza. Because obviously I was watching Hamza all throughout this time and I was thinking, I could do something similar to this. I could see myself doing this. This is something I could very easily do because I'm already so dialed in on self-improvement. Already in 2023, I had made my own concepts and my own philosophies of life. Like, who else do you know at the age of, 2023, I was 15 plus, it's 3 years ago. I don't know why I'm taking so long to work this out. 3 years ago, I'm 21 this year. So that's 2020 minus, I was 18. 18? Damn. But I'll do -1 because it would have been like at the beginning of 2023. So I was 17. 17 and I was making philosophies about life that people live like to this philosophy to date. I haven't even talked about it on YouTube yet because that's how like, it's such a big thing that I don't even know how I'm going to phrase it to you guys yet. But I created this whole philosophy and people live by that philosophy right now. How crazy is that? Like a 17-year-old made that philosophy. That's how I was like, shit, this is it. This is my purpose. This is what I want to do. I want to help people. I want to help people improve their lives. And that's my motto. And that's where it all started. 2024. So I was fully locked in. But there was something missing. That intimacy, that romance in my life. that companionship of a woman. I had always been talking to girls throughout my entire life, and this is the first time. In 2023, I wasn't talking to any, but I was more like, I kept myself too busy. Whereas now, even though I was still keeping myself busy, I was doing something that made me feel so fulfilled that I could notice more where other areas were lacking, if that makes sense. Right? It's like when you train your physique and your physique starts looking so good, but then you realize, actually, wait, my rear delt is lacking a bit. I think I need to train my rear delt a bit more. But you only start to realize that after you've started training everything properly, consistently, right? Whereas, like, back in 2023, when I locked in on self-improvement, I thought I was building everything, but I wasn't, because I wasn't doing anything that was purposeful. Even though it felt like it was purposeful at the time, I didn't actually truly understand purpose at that time. So it felt purposeful in the sense of, because I was parroting everything to that friend that I had, that accountability partner that I had. That's the way that it felt purposeful. But it only truly, truly, truly felt purposeful in 2024 once I started the YouTube. And that's when I realized I want a girlfriend. I want to talk to a girl. I want to have like a girlfriend. I just had this girlfriend, but she wasn't it. I want to start talking to girls again. I just felt empty. So end of 2024, I fell off again, and I started smoking cigarettes again, because I had a few more relationships. I had one over summer, and I had another one in Halloween time. And both of them were on and off until the end of the year. And they were painful, toxic, and I fell off really bad again. But not as bad as the first time, but I still fell off. These toxic relationships made me feel like I was losing my soul, because I didn't even respect these women that I was with. I just got with them for the sake of getting with them. I just wanted to be with them for the sake of the intimacy, for the sake of having someone that I could have sex with. And I wouldn't say I regret that period of my life, because I needed to go through it to be who I am today. But it wasn't the best period of my life. And I don't respect the person that I was back then. And I wouldn't make that decision again. I don't look back proudly on those moments, because, like I said, I did it for the sake of intimacy. And I didn't even enjoy those women, like those girls' company. I literally would sit there with them thinking, I would much rather be with my friends. I don't even know why I'm here. And I would get that thought several times while I was with these girls. And it just makes you think, like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are we with them then? And like I said, it was just for the sake of intimacy. I want you guys to, like, not make the same mistakes I have. I actually made a video about it called Pussy Ain't All That. If you want to watch it, I'll have it linked up here. But anyways, after that, even though I felt like I was losing my soul and I'd been through all these toxic relationships, I still kept somewhat consistent and disciplined on the YouTube. I actually got sick. So now this is going on to like the beginning of 2025. I was sick for about a week or 2 weeks, and there's like a whole chain of videos that I dropped every single day for about 2-3 weeks. And it's so funny because every single video I'm sick in. Like, I've got watery eyes, my nose is runny, you can hear my voice is like very, what's the word for it when you have like a sick sounding voice? And it's so funny. But that was like the most consistent that I've ever been while I was sick. So even though like, I was feeling like this and this is what was going on in my personal life, I was still disciplined and consistent with the YouTube. But the thing is, I was doing it in a very robotic way, which I absolutely hated. So scripts were actually like very, very scripted to the word. Whereas all of this, as you can tell, it's not scripted. I'm just speaking like straight to you, to the camera, one-to-one. I'm not looking at a script. I've got notes here, which just like remind me as like pointers to go off of. But there's no like specific word by word. Whereas back then, that's what it was. And I hated it because it felt very monotonous. It felt very robotic. And I feel like the quality of video, even though the quantity was really good and the consistency was really good, I was putting out consistent videos, but the quality was like down here. Those videos are still up and I still think you can get value from them, but I don't think they were as quality as they can be. So in time, I would probably like remake those videos, but like the same topic, but in a higher quality format for you guys, so you can take more value out of it. But yeah, that was like the kind of life that I was living at that time. Now, 2025, I tried bringing it back, so then I started focusing more on the YouTube. But I ended up like a bit of 2024 came into the beginning of 2025, specifically with the smoking. So I was still smoking in 2025, even though I shouldn't have been, but it's just like a bad habit that I carried into it. And then, like, as I was trying to get more disciplined with it, I was still in a bit of a rut with the YouTube, with self-improvement, with everything, even with my gym progress. I was in a bit of a rut. And then I met this girl who I thought would be the help to get me out of that rut. It turns out I went further down in a rut, which is what I'm about to say. So this period, I call it the Great Reset. Basically, I had this, so I still had that void, empty feeling, even though I felt like I'd lost my soul with the past girls that I was with. But I was like, I'm only going to get with a girl if I actually like want to be with her and I actually enjoy her company. So I started talking to this girl and I quite enjoyed her company. I was like, you know what? Let's see where this goes. I started talking to her and I was like, you know what? This could be something. I quite like her. So I started talking to her and started dating her. And things were going okay. And in all fairness, she was better than all of the past girls that I'd been with. But she still wasn't up to my standards that I would have liked. And it became very toxic. And that pushed me further down the rut. And on top of that, with the smoking, with everything else, I had a lot going on in my life. If you want to see the video that I made about it, I'll have it linked up here. But, sorry, I feel like I'm laughing because I feel like I say that every 10 seconds to every little situation that I have. But, no, that period was very difficult for me. And I also had a lot of health issues. So I had this one, I wouldn't call it an episode, but I had this period of my life where I was losing my short-term memory. So this is just like a quick summary if you're not going to watch the video, but I felt like I was losing my short-term memory. And I wasn't making any sense. I couldn't speak properly. I couldn't speak as fluently as I am to you right now. The words just wouldn't, like, make sense. I wasn't able to conversate properly, you know? And then on top of that, I had a varicocele. Or I developed a varicocele. I'm going to make a full video on that at some point, so I'm not going to go into it in depth here right now. But I actually thought like I had testicular cancer at one point. And obviously as a man on self-improvement, as a purposeful man that wants children, that wants a nuclear family, that wants kids of his own, that wants like an heir, a son of my own blood. I'm very like old-fashioned, I guess you could say, like that, but I really, really wanted that. And it was so scary. Like, I genuinely was just like at the bottom of the bottom, lowest of lows. I was so scared. But that by far was one of the worst periods. But I call it the Great Reset because now I'm on an upward trajectory, which is what I'm getting to. So that was the beginning third of 2025. The second third, I call it the comeback season. Or not the second, okay, that was the first half of 2025. Second half of 2025, I call it the comeback. So, I had all of summer, and then I went to India. And India, I was there for about 6 weeks. And it felt like a bit of a reset for me, in the sense of rest and recover and recuperate myself. Figure out what I'm doing, figure out where I'm going. I've actually like taken a gap year out of uni to figure this out, because obviously like so much has happened in the past year and a half. So much has happened. And I'm so grateful for it, because I've blown up from being like this shy, insecure kid that could barely even speak to a camera properly, to now Like, I can start up a conversation with any random person on the street. I can host a party with 200 plus people. I'm confident, I'm charismatic, I have a magnetizing personality. I'm not saying this to sound cocky, but I'm saying it as this is the person that I've become, and it's a person that I'm proud of. But also at the same time, it came with a lot of difficulty. It came with a lot of experience, I would say, lessons learned. I don't regret anything that happened, but a lot happened at the same time. So I'm taking a bit of, I took a bit of a pause to figure things out. And India really, really helped with that, while also being a bit more of like a getaway, in the sense of an escape from my regular mundane life. Of like, okay, I'm in the UK, I need to be doing this, I need to be fine. Like, there was so much stress on me, and I was just like, okay, let's take a break. Let's chill for a bit. Let me enjoy life for a bit. And while I'm like having that enjoying break, I can figure things out. And that's exactly what I did. And naturally, I started talking to a girl again. But this has a good ending this time. This girl is insane. Like, best girl that I've ever talked to. And actually on par with my standards. There is nothing in my mind that makes me have any doubts with her, that makes me scared of anything. There is no negativity, there is no toxicity. And I would say that this is like the girl that actually meets my standards. All of the past girls that I talked to, I'd had to lower my standards for, or compromise on my standards for. For this one that I'm talking to right now, I don't have to at all. And this is the first time that I can truly say that and mean it. It's a privileged position to be in. But hopefully you can get that one day too. But anyways, she helped me a lot. I was in a rut, and she actually helped pull me out. And I've been a lot more consistent with my self-improvement journey since I started talking to her, which is actually what I'm going to talk about in the next video, which is being in a healthy relationship is the biggest self-improvement hack. So stay tuned for that video. Get subscribed if you aren't already. But I started being more consistent, and this is when I realized this feels like season 4. This feels like the next big thing, the next season of my life, the next chapter of my life where things are going to be different. And that's what it's been, basically. I took a little bit of time to make my last studios video, because that one I was working really hard on. Falling in Love is cringe, but I'm still a hopeless romantic. If you haven't watched it, up there, you know the drill. But honestly, banger video. My best video by far. I spent over a year working on the script, and I spent like 3 months working on the actual video itself. So I'd recommend you guys check that video out. It's going to be worth your time, trust me. It's like a full movie, but in 5 minutes. Not 5 minutes, I think it's about 7 minutes, but still, worth it. Very much worth it. 7 minutes that you'd never want to, like, leave. Anyways, and then that's basically where I'm at right now. Now I'm being consistent with YouTube, and I'm back on it, back on self-improvement properly. I've fallen in love with the gym again, and life is feeling good. I'm back in line with my diet, and everything is starting to slowly come back up to what it's meant to be, to what it should be. And I'm just excited for this. So, in like a little bit of retrospect and looking back, and a little bit of reflection at the end of this, I believe the turning point in my life specifically was, even though like I started self-improvement way before, back in 2019 it first started. I think the turning point for me, specifically for starting this YouTube channel, for finding my purpose, was my first girlfriend, the first ex that I had, where I really got done dirty, and after her I started smoking. I would call that the fuck this event, the FTE. You must have heard of it before, but it's basically an event that happens where after that point, you make lots of changes in your life, and your mindset changes, your mental frame changes, your self-identity changes. And all of that is what happened for me after that point. And since then, everything has just been like another level, a whole different level of experiences and lifestyle and stories and experiences with women, experiences with friends. I say this all the time, texture of life. This is a phrase that I say all the time. If you're a long-time subscriber, you'll know what I mean. But my texture of life has just been different, another level. And I'm so grateful. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. A little bit of a different one today, but 7 years, it's been a long time, and we're still going strong. And can't wait to see what the future holds for the future of this journey. Only upwards from here, right? So, before I sign off, I would just like to quickly mention I am opening up a few spots for my first ever coaching program. If you think the advice that I give for free in these videos helps you out, think about the advice that I could give you within my coaching program. If you're interested, click the first link in the description to find out more information and book a call with me, just so you can gauge an experience. And the call is free, by the way. I'm not going to charge you for the call or anything like that. It'll be a 10-15 minute consultation call. We can talk about where you're at in your self-improvement and what specifically you feel like you need help on. Anything that you need help on, whether that be advice with girls, with the love of who you might think might be the love of your life, advice on productivity, advice on fitness, advice on diet, advice on health, anything that you need help with, let me know in that 10-15 minute consultation call, and I'll let you know if I feel like you're a fit for my program and I feel like I can help you. And if I do, then we can take things from there further. But it's the first link in the description. Check it out. Anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next one.